I'll let you go back to that. Chris is so.
I'm not in a rush. Look. Save the kids. Save the kids. Thank you.
I got here before everybody. I got here late. What's the deal here?
I skipped to the loo, my darling.
Is that? Yes, it is. I was going to eschew the ballot. No, but it's missing. You see that? It's that it's missing a second. I don't know what happened.
No, I think it was me.
Oh, yeah, he's just Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's that again.
We'll lay the work order.
And pledge.
Well, then you got there.
Right. Robert, pass this vote. I'll read them both.
Thank you for being here. The meeting is now called to order at 6:03. I guess you do the roll call.
Ms. Gates. Present. Ms. Lopez.
Present.
Ms. Alves.
Present.
Ms. Ferguson.
Present.
Ms. Avalos.
Present. And now we will do the pledge of allegiance. Please stand. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I have a very special announcement to make. In closed session of the special board meeting held on April the 6th, 2026 at 4:00 p.m., the board voted to appoint Dr. Laura Falya as our next superintendent for the National School District. National School District trustees are proud to announce a successor to their superintendent, Dr. Lena Brady, who will be retiring at the end of the current school year after 10 years of service to the district. Dr. Laura Falya was named the finalist for the top job Monday following an extensive search for a new chief executive. The governing board is expected to approve a multi-year contract for the new superintendent. At an upcoming regular board meeting, details of the employment agreement between National and the new superintendent are not available yet. Dr. Falya will be the first Latina to lead the district which was founded in 1871. She joined the National School District in July of 2025 and has been serving as the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. She is a bilingual, bicultural educator who deeply values the strong sense of community that defines the National School District and is looking forward to continuing to serve the students and families of National City as her role expands. With more than 25 years in education, Dr. Phil has led initiatives that strengthen instructional systems, support school teachers, and foster meaningful relationships with students, families, and staff. Believing they are the foundation of successful schools, she began her career at the Oceanside Unified School District, where she served as an elementary teacher, a middle school assistant principal, and then as an elementary school principal. She then translated into serve as principal at a dual language school in Encinitas, Union School District, at the Union School District before joining National School District. Dr. Phil spent 9 years supporting the Escondido Union School District, where she worked as a director assistant superintendent and then deputy superintendent of educational services. Dr. Phil earned her doctorate degree in educational leadership at the University of California, San Diego. She also holds a Master of Education from the University of San Diego. Her Bachelor of Arts degree is also from UCSD. Following Monday's discussion, Board President, me, Barbara Avalos, stated, "We look forward to working with Dr. Phil and are excited to see the impact her leadership will have on our future of our district." Thank you, Mrs. Fuller, and we are so proud of you for being our next superintendent. Welcome to National School District. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything?
I just wanted to say how deeply honored and grateful I am for this opportunity to serve as superintendent of this great district. This really is an incredible community. And I'm committed to building upon the strong foundation that's already been laid by Dr. Brady in place while continuing to support our students, families, and both certificated and classified staff. I know that together we'll move forward, focused on student success, ensuring that students are exceptionally prepared learners, innovative, and compassionate world citizens. And if I may, a note for the community. Me siento muy honrada y agradecida por la oportunidad de servir como superintendente de este distrito. Esta es una comunidad verdaderamente especial y estoy comprometida a seguir fortaleciendo la base sólida que ya existe, apoyando a nuestros estudiantes, familias, maestros y todos los empleados. Juntos seguiremos avanzando con un compromiso compartido, enfocados en el éxito de cada estudiante. Gracias.
Congratulations. Any remarks here? Any comments, please?
Congratulations.
Right at the end, because, you know, we get that part of the day. No.
Wait. You want to wait till the end?
Yes, sure, please.
Okay. We'll now go on with our meeting. We have presentations. Introduce and welcome our new employees. Dr. Crippen.
I always have the pleasure of introducing and welcoming our new employees. Today we have 3 RSVPs. I believe only 2 are present, but I will go ahead and call their names. When I call your name, please come on up and we'll take a picture and we'll have make Jocelyn take a picture of everybody. So the first employee is Juan Hernandez, temporary STEM teacher, district office. Mr. Hernandez has reading and Spanish teaching experience as well as over 10 years of substitute teacher experience working with elementary and high school students. He holds a bachelor's degree in business management and economics from the University of California. Welcome, Mr. Hernandez. You can stay up here. We'll take a group photo. The next one is Sarah I've been practicing. Sarah Jafarzadeh Ahmadzareh. Did I say that correctly? Sarah Jafarzadeh Ahmadzareh. She's an instructional assistant healthcare at El Toyon. She has over a year of teaching experience, and she holds a bachelor's degree in industrial management and a master's degree in management and information technology from Paymanur University in Tehran. Welcome, Ms. Ahmadzareh. So, welcome. And our next new employee is Lourdes Miranda, instructional assistant healthcare at Rancho de la Nacion. Ms. Miranda has been working as a substitute instructional assistant healthcare for the National School District for over 2 years. She holds an Associate of Arts degree in Business Administration from San Diego City College. Welcome, Lourdes Miranda. And our last employee is not going to be with us. She's not moving forward with the National School District, so we only have 3 new employees today. Thank you, and welcome to the NSD family.
Item 6 is public communications. Public communication provides the public with an opportunity to address the board regarding an item on the agenda or other topic. Anyone wishing to address the board shall submit a request for oral communications cards. Cards are available near the entrance to the boardroom and are to be submitted to the recovering secretary. A member of the public who wishes to address the board or any such matters limited to 3 minutes for one matter up to the maximum of 5 minutes for all closed and open session matters. There shall be a limit of 20 minutes for any matter unless such time limit is waived by the majority vote of the board members. The public may not yield any time to other speakers. No board actions can be taken. Item 7.
We have no speakers.
Item 8, approve the consent agenda. All items listed under this. Okay, agenda, accept the agenda.
Motion to
Item
approve.
7.
Second.
We have a Maria Betancourt Castaneda. Yes. Second by Mrs. Alma Sarmiento. Please vote.
Madam President,
Thank you. Item 8, approve consent agenda routine items of business. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon in one action by the board. It is understood that the superintendent has recommended approval for these items. There will be no discussion prior to the time of the board vote on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. All items are approved by the board will be deemed considered in full, adopted, recommended.
motion to approve.
We have a Mrs. Maria Betancourt Castaneda
Second.
made to approve and second by
Second.
Ms. Yates. All vote please.
Madam President,
Item 9A. These board policy and administrative regulations are first presented for review at the February 25th, 26th board meeting. They are part of our ongoing partnership with the California School Boards Association, which helps ensure our policies stay up to date in current laws and regulations. District staff, including the executive cabinet, carefully reviewed each, updated, and customized them to match the National School District practices. The board also spent many hours reviewing each proposed change. Most of the updates reflect legal or regulatory changes, not changes in how we run the district. Since the first reading, the board and public have had a chance to review the updates and ask questions. The workshop has also held at the March 11, 2026 board meeting. These policies are now ready for adoption. There will be no further discussion once approved. They will be posted on the district website at NSD Policies. We will continue to bring forward updates at future meetings to keep all policies current. Item, do I have a motion to adopt? We have a motion to adopt.
Second.
By Maria Castaneda, and a second by Mrs. Sarmiento. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
The first reading of the board policies and administrative regulations from the California School Boards Association updates, Exhibit C. Policies. This item is the first reading of purpose board policy updates. All recommended updates are included in the exhibit for public review and for board members to review between now and our next meeting. These updates are suggested by the CSBA and reviewed by district staff to ensure alignment with current district practice. The board will not be taking action this evening. However, members are encouraged to review the policies and bring forward any questions for discussions at our next meeting. Any significant questions should be submitted to the superintendent in advance so staff may research and prepare responses. Okay. A presentation, 10A, a presentation on cyber security, one needs to for school districts. And Maria Castaneda.
Thank you. I'd like to now welcome Mr. Terry Loftus from the San Diego County Office of Education to speak on the topic. We had an opportunity, President Avalos and I, to be a part of a presentation that you offered at the County Office of Ed during our delegate assembly meeting. And I felt that it was very important for you to come and present to us as the entire board. I know you mentioned at that meeting that you offered to present, and since it was a very important discussion related to cybersecurity and AI, and since this is part of an item on our agenda, I asked if that could be part of our agenda tonight, because it is very sensitive in nature. And thank you for being here, and thank you to Dr. Gloria Ceriza for allowing you, because you are also missing your board meeting to be here. And I know that it's important for you to be part of, but again, it was very important for you to be here to invaluable information for you to share to our board. So thank you for being here, and now I'd like you to take over and provide the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Board President Avalos, board members, Superintendent Brady, incoming Superintendent Billy. Congratulations again, staff, and attendees. As mentioned, my name is Terry Loftus. I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Assistant Superintendent, Chief Information Officer at the San Diego County Office of Education. I also serve on various nationwide boards on related to K-12 cybersecurity. And so this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. It's not the only topic that we're focused on at the County Office of Ed, obviously, but this is something that, as you mentioned, is very important and something for us to keep in mind, because first and foremost, what we need to do, regardless of the educational setting, even before the instruction, is that we're keeping students and staff safe. And that's not just physically, like we've done for many, many decades and beyond, but also digitally, and thinking about security and privacy. So today we're going to talk about a few things that I'm glad you started with a very uplifting start to the board meeting with the announcement of the new superintendent, because some of this is maybe not so fun or cheery. So bear with me, and I'm going to go through and provide a general overview, and then happy to answer any questions that you all might have. So again, wanting to really put the students and our staff at the center of what we do. whether that's keeping them safe physically or online or in the digital space. Unfortunately, our current reality is not particularly positive in K-12 education when it comes to cyber incidents and the challenges that we're facing. So whether it's ransomware attacks, whether it's data breaches, whether it's taking down systems that have negative impacts on instructional minutes, we've had a number of incidents nationwide, here in California, and even here in San Diego County. So this is something that we have been monitoring and addressing. I have been with the county office. I'm just coming up on completing year number 8. And this is something that unfortunately has only grown as far as a challenge that's faced by all of our LEAs, whether it's large or small, rural, urban. So we're all in this for good or for bad together. So today I'd like to just do a quick high-level run through. There's a lot of threats and challenges that we face, but there's really kind of the big 3 that we're facing on a regular basis. And that is the rise of ransomware attacks. And has been shared publicly or via the media. We've even had districts here in San Diego County that have been victims of ransomware attacks. And ransomware attacks are not only detrimental from the standpoint of potentially having to pay a ransom and the financial loss that comes from that, but also the impact, again, on district systems. So think about not having internet connectivity for a week. Think about student devices maybe not working for a week. Thinking about transportation systems, routing systems going down, or your food services, nutrition services systems not going down and not being accessible. It really has disruptive effects beyond just the financial piece. Commonly in the news or in the media, you'll see about, the ransomware, the ransom demanded, the amount of money, but it goes well beyond that in our service to students. So ransomware, unfortunately, is on the rise. We are seeing cases where there are extended periods of time that LEAs are impacted and have operational impacts. I was on a panel in Washington a couple weeks ago with a friend and colleague from Baltimore County Schools. They had a major disruption about 8 years ago, and they just recently have kind of dug themselves out fully. And they have spent nearly $20 million, and they did not pay the ransom, just in recovery fees, lawsuits, and other negative impacts. So ransomware, unfortunately, is in that the top of that list. Phishing scams. I'm sure you have all seen or received those fraudulent emails from folks trying to either steal personal information, sensitive information from you, from your staff members. And this is happening on a regular basis. I'm actually going to go through a couple examples in a moment of where we've seen some of that here in San Diego County. And then the last piece really relates to data breaches and exposure. So when you have data that's actually stolen, that it's far more complex. In fact, I think I've got, let me jump ahead here. When we think about the data, so national school district, any school district, the county office, what we're protecting is a vast amount of data. So you may or may not have heard, there was a few years back, about 2.5 years ago, there was a big cyber incident in LA Unified. And so at that time, I got a call from a journalist from the New York Times, and he said to me, what's the big deal about losing student grades? And we had to have about an hour-long conversation about, well, yes, it's grades, but we also have a wealth of information on students, staff, and parents, financial information, medical information. We are multidisciplinary as far as school districts. We've got nurses and LVNs. We've got medications for students that are tracked in systems. We have vast amounts of financial information about our operations, our staff. We've got community data that comes in when parents fill out forms and other information. And the list goes on and on. So what we're protecting is pretty vast, and it is very important that we keep hold of that sensitive information of our students and our staff. You may have also heard that there was a big incident about a year ago, just over a year ago, with a student information system called PowerSchool. You don't use PowerSchool, so that's great. But that's exposed millions and millions of student records. And amongst those, there were records of discipline records, counseling notes, very private conversations that students have had with counselors and so forth. And so, again, not to scare everyone, but thinking about the data that we have is very important to protect. So a couple quick examples, so close to home. We've had situations where people will clone or try to copy, for example, our website and our tools. So many are familiar with PeopleSoft. I see some heads nodding. And it has access to all of your financial information and operational financial data, human resources data, and so forth. And so there was an attacker from Germany that was setting this up and trying to get people that work in school districts to go to this site and give up their credentials so that they could log in and then reroute their direct deposit information abroad. Another one of our school districts, through a phishing email and spoofing, again, not this district, another district, had a situation where they were working with an architectural firm, and the attacker had gotten into someone's email account, saw that there was messages back and forth, and then set up a new domain name with an added letter, an S at the end. And so, and then started messaging the staff, which then did wire transfers to who they thought was a legitimate company. Thankfully, we were able to, our team, the Cyber Guardians, which I'll talk about in a second, and the FBI, we were able to recover about 80% of the funds, but we were talking about a significant amount of money, about $270,000 that had been wire transferred to the attacker. Now, AI, that is the topic of the moment, right? There's a lot happening with AI, and again, we don't have time to dive into all of the nuance of AI, but what I share with my board and others is we really generally put it into two buckets. We think about AI from an instructional standpoint, if and how and where it's being utilized in the classroom at what grade levels, taking the lead of our teachers and our certificated staff, and also the operational side. How is AI going to impact our business operations, transportation, IT, and other services that we're providing on a regular basis? The challenge with AI is you've probably seen the news about deepfakes and fake videos, fake audio, where people are going above and beyond sending that email, that phishing email, asking you for information. It may be a phone call that you say, you know what, I was certain that was Dr. Brady that called me, and that was her voice exactly that was asking me to authorize the wire transfer. And so unfortunately, AI is making it far more challenging to what I would call the defenders, so all of us in K-12 schools and school districts. And the challenges are getting even bigger. So this is an example actually from yesterday. So there are some big players in the AI world you may have heard of. You may have heard of ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from a company called Anthropic, or even Gemini from Google. Well, Anthropic is one of those leading companies that are developing the models. And what I just wanted to share here it's twofold. One, the model is so advanced and so capable that for the first time, they are not releasing it to the public. They have shared it as too comprehensive, it's too dangerous to even release to commercial customers, which is odd for a for-profit company to say, we're not going to sell this or make money on it yet until we can get some guardrails around it. One of the big pieces of concern is that it was very capable in finding software bugs. And so commonly attackers, if they're not going to engineer or someone or trigger fraud via phishing, they'll try to attack a system itself. And this new model called Mythos from Anthropic was able to find bugs in software that's been around for decades that researchers have never found. And so essentially, it could open the door to someone who is not particularly technically proficient to say, oh, look, here's these flaws, and I can ask Mythos to come up with make me a piece of software that helps me break into this system. So they don't even need to be a programmer anymore, which is very concerning. So very, very recent as of yesterday. Again, the data that we're protecting, but let's pivot and wrap up by talking about some of the solutions and some of the things we can do around cybersecurity. So the first recommendation is to implement what's known as a cybersecurity framework. We're all familiar with guidebooks, rules of the road, rubrics in a classroom. This is somewhat similar. It's outlining best practices globally to say, all right, here's the pieces that we're going to address. We can grade ourselves, if you will, against a framework like this. We use something called the CIS critical security controls, which are used across the nation, and we have adopted at the county level in our 58 counties across the state of California to essentially be our roadmap for how we're securing our systems, how we're protecting our students, staff, and community. Second recommendation is to implement what's known as multi-factor authentication. And I know there's been some work on multi-factor authentication here. if there's no silver bullet in security and cybersecurity, but this is the closest thing to that as far as your return on investment. About 90% of all attacks can be stopped dead in its tracks by using multi-factor authentication. And so we know that that's been a challenge in some of our LEAs to help inform folks, raise awareness that, hey, this is important to protecting our students, and it's important for protecting each other as staff. Third recommendation that we provide to districts is to really think about training. And think about it in kind of 3 swim lanes, if you will. So the first being, what are we doing for all staff? How are we raising awareness and providing some skills and insights to all of our staff, regardless of their role, regardless of what site they're at? Then the second swim lane, thinking about our technology staff. What can we do to invest in them and help them upskill and increase their capabilities? Because again, much like our certificated staff that we regularly and rightly send to different trainings, or we adopt a new curriculum and we have training available there, we need to do the same on the classified side, particularly with the IT staff. And then of course, there's always the student piece. So in the state standards, there's elements around digital citizenship, a larger umbrella about being safe online and how to navigate things like cyberbullying and so forth. So training is a very, very key element to what's recommended to all LEAs. Now, what's another reason that I'm here? Well, the other reason I'm here is that, again, very pleased and thankful to work at the San Diego County Office of Education. And we do have resources available and services. So when I started at the county office a number of years ago, there was a focus by the superintendent at the time and the board. Okay, we recognize that this is a growing concern and that LEAs, particularly our smallest districts and charter schools, just do not have the capacity to take this on in any form or fashion. So we have a team at the county office that is here to support folks. This is the smiling faces of all my folks that are on our cybersecurity team. They're known as the Cyber Guardians. They work with all of the tech directors at our 42 school districts and CTOs and so forth, and as well as our 129 charter schools. So we cannot protect everyone with 6 folks, but we can do some things at scale and provide some guidance to help protect before some sort of incident takes place. Speaking of MFA and some of the things we're doing at the county office, just one quick call out here. We have a project that's underway right now to put everything within PeopleSoft behind multi-factor authentication, and we've worked with all of our districts, and we're pleased to have that going live on the 28th of this month. Because if you didn't know, we have over 70,000 staff in PeopleSoft with that wealth of information, HR data, financial data, et cetera. So one of the projects we've been working on with all of our tech directors, CTOs, and leaders in the field. So this is what I'm going to wrap up. This is my final slide. This is kind of the bonus slide. This is more specifically to board members, so all of you fine people, and thinking about, well, what can I do? Sometimes you think maybe that's the IT person, or that's the superintendent, or that's this person over here. Actually, security is everyone's responsibility. And so when we think about boards, think about the supporting of budgets. And again, I know that's challenging, right? Especially in challenging budget times like these, to make sure that we're able to provide what's needed. I commonly encourage technology leaders to be part of that conversation when you're doing your LCAP and you're designing what a budget looks like. So that's not something that the board or the CEO is trying to fit in on top of what was already planned or budgeted for. Asking for recurring presentations. You have every right to ask your technology leader to provide maybe once a year, just kind of a state of the union, what's happening, how are we doing, where do we have opportunities for improvement and so forth, engaging with partners and so forth and so on. So you'll have a copy of these slides so you can see each of these items, but here's just a handful of recommendations from a board level as to the ways that you can support these efforts in National School District. So with that was a lot. I know I fire-hosed you with a lot of information, not particularly the most pleasant, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have or hear any comments and thoughts.
Yes. States.
As a person in PeopleSoft, thank you for watching out for me.
Absolutely.
And, just for awareness sake, though, when you are considering San Diego County, what would you like? We hear of some of the our neighboring districts and what they have dealt with. So how much are we facing this regularly? Just for awareness sake?
I appreciate that you're very cautiously asking that question and thoughtfully. What I would tell you is just an open preface. So the County Office of Education, we have certain things under Ed Code that we are required to do. Cybersecurity is not one of them. And so what's deeply important to all of us is confidentiality and privacy. Because each LEA, when you have an incident, that's not for us to share with anybody else. And we want to be that first or second call, maybe after cybersecurity insurance, usually before that. And so I just preface with, we hold highly confidential any incidents or things that happen within our LEAs, whether it's our districts or charter schools. I would tell you that since COVID, we have probably had 5 or 6 major incidents for school districts. When I say major, that means systems are impacted, systems are down. Some of those are make it to the news, and some of them have not. The other challenge I would share with you, not to add insult to injury, but we're now seeing many of those districts 1, 2, 3 years later, the subject of class action lawsuits. Parents that have said you did not do your due diligence, and so we are taking you to court. And so we have 2 districts currently that are in that process. So unfortunately, it's not just the harm of the initial attack and the being victimized, but the knock-on effects and obviously the goodwill with your communities and so forth. But as far as numbers, I would say large, yes, probably 3 or 4 in the last few years, 4 years. But we are seeing attacks daily. We regularly are communicating with our CTOs, our tech directors, our executive directors via a number of different methodologies. We had a district in our county just a few days ago that had over 40 staff click on phishing emails, and they needed to lock out all of their staff. It was one of our larger districts, so it's a lot of people, and require all of them to reset their passwords forcibly. So these things are happening on a daily basis, not to over dramatize it, but it's not something that we see ebb and flow too much. It's pretty consistent.
Ms. Armento?
Yes, I'm curious, where do we stand? You know, we've had the expertise of Dr. Dwayne Cossey, who's done some wonderful things for us in the area of cybersecurity as well as our IT department. Does someone come out and do an inventory or someone from the county office, I would think, and let us know where we stand? Because I sure like to know.
Yeah. So again, part of that is we want to make sure that the governance team, the cabinet level folks, superintendent, CTO, et cetera, are able to communicate that out. But yes, I can share what I know firsthand. After Mr. Cossey starting here, he reached out. We were talking about a range of different things. He engaged with the Cyber Guardians team, asked about various items, looked at software, did some really deep work initially, and I know that he was working on a number of things. I don't know that, again, there isn't any district that has it perfectly, but
yeah, I could add to that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that we were looking at. Our insurance, Canaan, has a checklist for things that we need to do to make sure that we're fully protected in the event of a cybersecurity attack. And of course, we are just so thankful, Terry, that you've been such a great partner with National School District all of these years. I mean, practically my entire time as superintendent, even did a presentation with Trustee Sarmiento ways back at CSBA. Behind the screens, yes. And what I can tell the board is before Mr. Cossey got here, we were at about 20% on that checklist. And so we did elevate the job description to executive director to really attract somebody that could come and help us configure our network. So we are now at 100% covered on that checklist. I will say that you mentioned that there were some attacks from out of the country. We do have several employees that travel outside of the country, and if you're going to be traveling, you do have to contact our technology department because every country, except for one, besides this one, is locked out if you're traveling. So you can't access your district email or any of the district functions, and that's to protect us from some of those external
bad actors. But if we know somebody's traveling, we can make an exception and keep an eye on it. But it really does limit us. So this whole framework has been put into place. For the multi-factor authentication, I did receive a spoofed email from a very reliable source from a recognized source. It had the person I knew and the identity of a well-known source. So I clicked on it because I expected that kind of an email. And later in the day, I got, answer, I do not open this email, I've been hacked. And I said, oh, I clicked on it. So I immediately called Mr. Cossey and he said, don't worry, Angela, we have multi-factor authentication. So because of that, they were not able to get into my system. He promptly came to my office and he helped me change all my passwords. And we have one single password that kind of goes behind the scenes, so you don't have to change. And be like, did I change that password or that password? So it's part of that network framework that he was talking about. And the one thing I think I'm most proud of is our tech department was originally built on getting kids online, going one-to-one, and making sure the devices worked for kids. And this cybersecurity, AI, these are new things that have been developing behind the scenes. But the people that we have hired in National School District have done some very extensive training. And a lot of them are going back to school, getting new credentials, and are really fired up about their learning. So when new things come out, they've been doing training with the county office. They're attending meetings regularly that are put on by the County Office of Education. And they're investing in learning to make sure they stay on top of things. So I just want to congratulate and thank our technology department for being very proactive. So
Ms. Vidcoy Castaneda.
Thank you. Yes, well, thank you for your presentation here tonight. I know, as Dr. Brady just said, there's a lot of new technology. My son actually is studying cybersecurity, so I hear the language all the time, and he tells me how vulnerable some of this we all can be. And he's reminding me about all of this and making sure we're protected. And I want to just remind us that I just actually received a letter from, it was one of the medical or something in the mail regarding a data breach on somewhere that I may have attended or wherever on something, a personal thing. And I didn't bring the flyer with me, but we're always susceptible to a data breach. So it's very important that we're mindful on anything that we do. So we have to be very careful and cautious. And so whether it be an email or a click of any sort, and so this is just a reminder on how delicate anything that we do is very important. So that is why I asked that you be here, because we do have very sensitive information for our kiddos and also our families and our staff. And we do have an item on the agenda that we have to take into consideration. We do have budget and constraints that we also have to take into consideration as well. But at the end of the day, we do have to be mindful of the cyber attacks that we have to be cautious about. I did write that one district that was paying $20 million that didn't even pay the ransom, and they were still just getting out of their situation. And that's without paying the ransom.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we have to live in this day and age of this type of technology breaches and so on. So I just want to thank you again for being here this evening and providing us this expertise. I know there's a lot of stuff and a lot of information that you could have additionally provided us, because I know we had a little bit more extensive information. You minimized it, but it is valuable information. But it is very important. And thank you. I don't know if there was anything else that anybody needed to add. I'd like to thank my colleagues for allowing this presentation. And take that into consideration when we make the decision for this position going forward.
And if I might, very briefly, it has been a privilege and an honor to work with Dr. Brady. In the last 8 years, I've been county office, maybe for a little bit before that, but things have come up and incidents and so forth. And so it's been a great partnership, and looking forward to continuing a great partnership. And then whoever your next technology leader is, we'll do like we did with Dwayne. We'll bring them to lunch and get to know them and let them know that we're a resource, that we're here not to prescribe anything so much as to just be a support structure and to provide resources that they may need. Because I originally started in a very small school district. In fact, I started a small charter and then went to a small school district. And so I know the challenges that you all have that a San Diego Unified or a Poway or somebody else doesn't have. Not that they don't have their own challenges, but when you have very constrained budgets, you need to make some really tough decisions. But kudos to elevating that position and putting a focus on it, especially with what we're going to be dealing with AI. It's a huge topic, and you're going to need a trusted resource to be able to lean on as you have questions and you have directives for things to get done.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the board, we want to thank you.
And we have a new employee here.
Hi, Sarah, did you just walk in or no? Are you Sarah?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Sarah, thank you for being here. We introduced our new employees, but since you're here, we'd like to introduce you to come on up. I'll just read a little bit about you and then you can come on up, okay? Sarah Jafarzadeh Ahmad Zareh, I hope I said that correctly, has over a year of teaching experience. Come on up. She holds a bachelor's degree in industrial management and a master's degree in management and information technology from Payam-e-Noor University in Tehran. So welcome to the National School District. Come on up and we'll take a photo. And thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the NSD family.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Anybody else here that's supposed to get a that wants to join our team here? Okay, going on with our next item. Presentation on community schools. This is Laura Gilgan, 10B. Item 10B. 10B. Approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on March 11, 2026.
Move to approve. I'll
We
second.
have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento to approve, and we have a second by Ms. Gates. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Okay. Yes, I can abstain. I already voted. I have to abstain because I was not here at the last meeting.
I'll make the correction. I'll note the correction.
Thank you. Going forward to our next. This one, right? Presentation on the community schools, Mrs. Laura Gilgan.
Thank you. So we are pleased to share with you this evening an update of our community schools work in National School District. This initiative reflects our commitment to ensuring that every student is supported not only academically, but also socially and emotionally through strong partnerships with our families and the broader community. I also want to express our appreciation to our labor partners and NCETA who partnered with us in this work. Their voice and shared commitment to students are critical in helping us build a model that's thoughtful, inclusive, and grounded in the needs of our school communities. So we are going to be having Dr. Ferris, who's really championed this work and has put together a presentation for you tonight.
Good evening, President Avalos, Governing Board, Executive Cabinet, and all members that are here. Lately, community schools have been getting a buzz and it's been amplified because of the funding that's attached to it. But I want to start off by thanking our leadership and especially you, the board, because you have been doing community school strategies. You have been supporting the work, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that intertwines, and it's not something extra, it's not a program, but it's strategies that National School District has been committed to for a long time. Today I will share what community school strategies are, the pillars, how our district has been using community school strategies, and how we are moving forward to support positive student outcomes. So, and Dr. Philia shared it today too. Exceptionally prepared learners, innovative and compassionate world citizens is our vision. If we looked at our mission, there's themes around safety, environment, and we call out engaging and collaborating with educators, staff, parents, and community. That is all community schools. So our beliefs and actions have been always aligned with the community school framework. We believe that by working together, we can help our children and families succeed. I came here 8 years ago and I did my homework and looked at the vision and mission, and that really appealed to me, and that's why I came over. And then when I saw it in action and I saw our staff and our families create the sense of belonging, I decided to bring my children here because my children deserve the best, and I do believe that National School District has the best work and staff and families. What is community schools? A whole child school improvement strategy where our district and schools work closely with staff, students, and families. We partner with community agencies to align resources, and it's all to improve student outcomes. For the state, we have 4 pillars. So we have integrated school supports, collaborative leadership practices, family and community engagement, and extended learning opportunities. Currently, for grantees for the state, we have 7 schools. And for our partnership with National University Enlaces, we have 2 sites, Central and El Leon, for the federal funding. I'm going to start with pillar number 1 in the framework of community schools, integrated student supports. And this is to bring together education, health, social services, to remove barriers and ensure every student can fully engage in learning. I've provided some examples like full-time health office support every day. That does not happen everywhere. Counselors. We have a family resource center. We have Feeding San Diego weekly food distribution. We have after-school programs. We have language arts specialists for interventions. We have a lot happening. These are just a few of the ways we address student supports. And thank you for those partnerships and approving contracts, and also lots of partners that are completely free for us. And then in the spirit of collaboration, which is another one of the pillars that I will discuss, I did want to bring up our partners with National City Police. And they're going to share a little bit about what they do here with us in National School District.
I gotta follow this guy.
Mr. Saul Hernandez.
Good evening, everybody. President of the board, members of the board, executive staff. Thank you for having me here tonight. Super excited to be here and talk about all the great things that our school resource officers do. As you guys all know, the school resource officer program has been around for long years in National City. going back, our command staff, most of them were all school resource officers. Our chief of police was a school resource officer, so that's really held dear to all of them. They really look at supporting the program and ensuring that, you know, this relationship continues. We do a lot in the schools. We do a lot in the schools and community service. So my position, I'm the sergeant in charge of our community services unit, which basically means I have the school resource officers, our community service officers, community outreach team, reserve officer program. There's a lot of stuff going on. And thankfully, the 3 resource officers that I have, they're on the school campuses and do all the heavy lifting and really make my job easy. We can go through this list really briefly, but we obviously participate in school and community events. I mean, we have the school giveaway, for all the kiddos, the gear that they need for school, the supplies. We participate in that, you know, and enjoy it very, very much. You know, safety at the schools is one of our main priorities. So we have, you know, our assisted safety patrols, safe routes to schools, ensuring that the safety and traffic, because we all know how traffic can get in our cities, and parking is a big issue. I know at a lot of times school drop off. So getting out there and ensuring that parents are educated and ensuring that they know, like, hey, this is unsafe. We're not really looking at doing a lot of enforcement on that piece. It's more just the education piece so that we can ensure that everybody is safe and doing what they need to do to make sure their kids can get to school safely. We participate in assisting with your comprehensive safety school plans. I know that's a heavy lift for everyone. It's a big thing to take on, but we gladly look at everything that you guys have going on to ensure that, heaven forbid something does happen, we have a plan in place so that we can get out there and assist in the best way possible. Red Ribbon Week, obviously the anti-bullying things, those are huge. Our role as school resource officers in the schools is to ensure that we're there as mentors. We want to, you know, build positive relationships with the kiddos and the staff and ensure that everybody feels safe and they're okay with us being around. We're not on the enforcement side per se. We're not trying to arrest kids or do anything like that. We want to just make sure that they're safe, and we're there to support staff so that staff feels comfortable and confident to ensure that they can address any issues with our support. That's really what we're there for. And yeah, I mean, that happens during school, before school, after school. I wish I had 30 SROs to be at all the campuses. Unfortunately, I have 3. So they get spread out, and we try to hit as many schools as we can throughout the day. And again, having those positive interactions on campus and around, and trying to ensure that everybody feels safe to have some good learning environments for all the kiddos. We do a lot of follow-ups for CPS related cases. So anytime we have, you know, alleged abuse cases or anything, we're kind of the first ones to get our hands on and ensure that, one, we get resources for the kids, or ensure that they're taken away from that dangerous environment. And by having us in the schools and, you know, having those relationships, sometimes it's easier for the kiddos to speak to the school resource officers than it is if it's just a regular patrol officer who's coming and showing up and be like, hey, what happened? Our officers are very good throughout the agency. It does take some, not necessarily training, but the right personality to deal with kids. You know, and you guys all know, as being educators or in the education world, that we have to have that ability to engage and build a rapport. And I really think that's, you know, one of the big pieces that we do as school resource officers. The Star Pal soccer clinics are awesome. Good thing is soccer's getting bigger in the United States. And I love soccer. I'm not that great at it, but it's been a blast to get out with the kids. And again, when they see us go out there as SROs, when we do Star Pal stuff, we're in like a red shirt, says Star Pal, shorts, sneakers. And at first they're like, you kind of look familiar because I might have seen you. But again, it's just that ability to engage with them, have fun. I want to say it was at one of the last events I was at, and the kiddos were talking to me. I think it was at Read Across America. We were there, and they go, "You look familiar," and I go, "You do too. Were you at the soccer clinic?" He goes, "Yeah." And like we had a little conversation. But again, I think it's those little things. You know, unfortunately, in our line of work, there can be, you know, people that are afraid to talk to us, engage with law enforcement, especially wearing all the gear, and you know, it can be intimidating. But by having these positive interactions and the ability to be in the schools and engage with kids when they're younger, you know, my hope, and I do see it, is that it breaks those barriers so that later on, if something does happen, you know, they are more comfortable or you know, confident going and asking questions or bringing something up if something's happened. So that stuff is awesome, and I see it. In my career, I was never an SRO before I got this position. I do enjoy the community stuff, and it was a learning curve for me. I worked a lot of various assignments, undercover, narcotics, SWAT, K9, all these other things, and then I came into this realm, and I was like, wow, this is a lot. But to see the relationships that are built, to see the interactions amongst the kids and the officers that are in those programs or in the SRO program, it's awesome. And it's so, you know, uplifting, and it gives me hope that, you know, we can help these kids in the future, and hopefully, you know, are good mentors to them. And I'm sure you guys all know it's very hard to hire officers now. So maybe some of them will want to come and help us out later on when they get older. So that's the hope. Shop with a Cop, great event. You know, getting the kiddos out there and taking them to SeaWorld, and then doing a little shopping spree at Target. It's just another opportunity for us to, you know, give back and be part of that. There's a lot of donors that make that successful, but it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it, and I know the kids enjoy it too. The last one we did last year, we were at SeaWorld, and at first they didn't want sirens and the microphones because they were like, well, the animals and the neighbors. And so this year they were like, yeah, it's okay, go for it. So we gave them the microphone. And what do you think they said? 6, 7, 6, 7. Like, stop. All parking lot. And I was like, I still don't know what that means, but they had fun. They enjoyed it, and again, like, we run into those kiddos and they see us like, oh, I remember you from, Shop with a Cop. So all these things are just a little piece of what the school resource officers do. Again, I have 3 very hardworking SROs. I'm very appreciative of what they do, and I know they enjoy it, which is a big piece of it. You know, as long as they're passionate about it and enjoy being in the schools with the kids, they can't get any better. So I can take any questions if anybody has any.
Do you have any questions? Ms. Gates?
I'm just saying, maybe one day you'll be promoted to be an SRO too.
Yeah, there you go. I get the benefit of going to all the events whenever they're around, so I can just show up and, hey, how's it going? So yeah, thank you. Anything else? I know you guys are gonna let me out that easy.
Ms. Sarmiento? I'd just like to say thank you for what you do. I know you probably didn't volunteer for this position, but we're stuck in that realm, but or were you?
I actually, it was always on my radar. I was always like, you know, I think that would be cool to do, a good position. Again, I've always liked the community aspect of it, you know, volunteering. I'm a big proponent of just like being involved with people. Like it's important. I think we kind of lose touch with that. Everybody put their phones down and already talk to each other. So by having the opportunity to go out and meet people and engage, I did get to do a lot of exciting, fun stuff, but like it's just a different part of the job now. But I totally enjoy it.
And probably a lot of your coworkers are former SROs.
Yes.
I can think of many over the years.
Yep.
I was around when we first started the program, and it started out really slow and we kind of eked through. And then at one point, we were considering doing away with it altogether. And we had several officers come in and talk us out of it. Of course, I was always in favor of it, but also your former police chief was a former SRO, and that's how I first met Jose Diaz.
Yep. No, it's definitely like it's in the roots of our department. I mean, if our command staff, I mean, they were all school resource officers and they really believe in the program. It's one of those things that we're going to get the support, which is great, you know, and it's important because, you know, the biggest thing, like I said, is for us to ensure that everybody's safe, kids have a great learning environment, and we build those relationships that, you know, stand later. And I know from personal experience, my wife, she was like, I ran into another detective when I was in investigations, and he starts looking at me and goes, "Are you married to a Jessica?" And I go, "Yeah." And then his partner was a deputy from the sheriff's department. And she goes, "You're a creeper." I'm like, "Why do you know that?" He goes, "Oh no, I was her SRO when she was young." And so then I went and talked to her. She goes, "Oh yeah, I remember him." Yeah, and so like those connections, like over 30 years, like people remember that, and I mean it's super important. So
Yeah, one time our kids were scared to see a police officer on the school grounds or in their neighborhood. My grandson one time, 3 years old, he saw a police car parked out front. He slammed the door shut, locked everything, the deadbolt and everything. And I said, "What happened?" He goes, "There's a police car out there." And he was scared to death. And so over the years, I gradually got him to see that, you're not all bad guys, even though you carry guns. But I think we needed to dispel the frightening part of it for the kids, so that now that they know when you're on campus, it's not a bad thing.
yeah, and I think that's super important. So thank you for bringing that up. I mean, just again, being on campus, being with the kids, they get used to it. And the hope is that, like I said, they feel confident, comfortable coming up and either reporting something or asking a question, feeling safe to be around us, because I've had my experiences with people that are, a little worried about talking to law enforcement, and part of it had to do a lot with social media and things that people see. And I think it's like in everything else, there's bad apples in every profession, and unfortunately, when that brush is painted broadly, that makes it difficult. But it's our job to continue to just have those positive interactions to show, like, hey, it's okay. I know people make mistakes, but that's not us. We're here to help and protect. So,
Thank you. Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda. Thank you. To add to that is, because I was going to mention that is to have those positive interactions and to remove that stigma of the profession, and to remind the officers that we need to have those positive interactions at all times, so that our students and our families don't have that negative vibes in those interactions, because we want to make sure that our families see that and they feel protected, and that they don't slam the doors when they see them, and that when families see that there's an officer, when they see a car at the school sites, they don't think, "Oh, what happened?" It's like, "Oh, there's an activity, there's an event," and it's in a positive manner, because traditionally you see a cop car at the school site and you think negatively, and everything's more like there's a positive for positive reasons. And that's what we want, and that's the reason why the program is in our district. And of course, sometimes we have to bring them in for different reasons, but that's not what we want. We want the families to have the positive interactions, and we want to bring in, so that way you don't have the employment deficits, right?
the more we get, the better, yes.
Yes. But I also wanted to add, as historically, all the SROs and so on, once they moved on, all the activities that we ever had, they always tend to trickle back. And, like we have this Sullivan and we come back, and even though they're no longer a SRO or oversee the department, they always seem to make their way back and come and help out in whatever capacity. And so obviously our program is very popular, and it was very well loved and received. So we appreciate all that you do, and our families really benefit from having this program. So we thank the entire department. At least I want to say, if I was speaking for myself, I should say, I thank you guys for what you do, and thank your officers, and I appreciate all the smiling faces and all that you guys provide to our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That
Trustee
was
Lopez?
no, it was very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll pass the message.
Thank you, President Avalos. Yes, just to reiterate what my colleague said, this morning I was reminded that there's no greater love than to lay down your life for a friend, and I truly believe that's what our police department does to our city and for our students, so thank you. And I would like to be invited to shop at the COP, just FYI. Just putting out there, I know the students love it and you all take them to shop, so I would like to just be part of that. And I also remember, I think now 2 years ago, having a conversation with Chief Hernandez, now our acting city manager, about just reassuring our families and our students that our local agency doesn't work with the DHS. So again, thank you for that too, providing that safety reminder for them as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I feel bad sometimes because I drive a black police car and it's got tinted windows, and I know I will drive around to ensure that the school is safe. And I know people that, who's that? I have to roll the windows down. I'm like, no, it's police. We're good. Like, I'm here. But it's a very tough time for a lot of families. Totally understandable. It's difficult for a lot of people, and unfortunately, yeah, we kind of get mixed in this. It's a uniform. It's you guys are doing the same thing, and we're not. So we do our best, and we get out there to have meetings and talk to people and ensure them that, like, hey, we enforce state law. That's what we're here for. Ensure people are safe. We're not here doing anything else. I've actually had discussions with my officers, basically like, well, what if they came here? What would you do? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I might have to take that on and stand here at this door and not let anybody in. They're like, you might get arrested. I go, well, if I get arrested, it's what it is. So I mean, you never know, right? Like, imagine that. It's just hopefully it never happens. But I know that people are very worried. But we're here to ensure that the safety of the community in National City, schools, everybody here. That's what we're here for, and we're happy to get out there, proud to put on the uniform every day and just provide that service. So.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions that we have? None? Thank you so much for your great presentation, and I'm sure the children feel so safe. I don't know, then, Doctor. No, of course not.
But thank you guys so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for collaborating. And then in the spirit of collaboration, I'm very proud that we're always collaborating, but in particular for community schools, we collaborated with our association and the ETA to develop a teacher on special assignment community schools job description, where we sat with the president of the association and really worked on what we want for our schools and strategies. I've also highlighted some of the ways we collaborate in our schools, each school, and in our district. We have a lot of committees. I mean, today we have PTA officers meeting. Tomorrow we have UCSD Parent University. It's just busy, busy, busy. And we have in the daytime, we have in the evening. And it's really important to hear all voices. This morning we talked about two-way communication, where it's not just a take relationship, but a mutual support, because it takes everyone. And going along with that, National School District feels like family. And it's, I remember when Dr. Philia came, when I came, it feels like a family. And in some cases, we are literally family. And we know that building a sense of belonging for our families, and that them coming to a mass night, a coffee with families, with the principals, and you have those positive interactions with the principal. By the way, thank you for being here. You guys get a star. No. And we get, we have those positive relationships. So when there's harder conversations, they know you and they know that you care. So that's very important that we build those relationships. And also, again, everything is for positive student outcomes. So math nights, all the feedback that I've received is that they love all the steps that we're taking at the sites, and it's all credit to the sites. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And we also have the last pillar, extended learning opportunities. I'm very proud of the broad course of study program that we have in our district. I'm very proud of the mariachi program that is a way of having pride on one of our cultural pride, and one of our, here as mostly Hispanics, say we have mariachi. My child was one of the mariachi members. And we're always looking at the data, assessing the data, and looking at how can we improve. And sometimes we talk about it. We create more work for ourselves, but we like it because we want the kids to have the best, even if it's more conversations, more meetings, and how can we make this happen, and where can we get the funding for this. So we're very proud of what's happening. I used to say National School District is a hidden gem, but I would like to think that everybody knows, and it's just going to be more and more expanded because there's a lot happening here. And proof of that expansion will happen tomorrow too at Palmer Lake. This year we'll get to have our 4th annual now Back to School Resource Fair. If you hadn't had an opportunity to come, I invite you. It's the week before students come back to school. We have partners that give backpacks away, and from that it stemmed the idea that sometimes there's kids that have certain barriers, and going back to school can create anxiety for some. Especially right now in this economy, it's expensive to buy shoes, to buy uniforms. So every school gets to select 40 children, and all of them receive backpacks, shoes, uniforms, socks, food, even haircuts and school supplies, all provided by donations. And it's done in a very fun way, and in a way that has integrity and dignified. It's not a hand-me-down. There's resources. All these pictures are not AI generated. They are actual pictures, and you see smiles not only from those receiving, but especially from those giving, and being part of the event where you know that, you might have helped a family a little bit more by just having a positive start to the year. And it's also a reminder, get those kids ready for back to school. So this is one of my favorite events. Steering committees. We're very proud that each school has a leadership committee for community schools that has a balanced representation of CSEA and CETA and community members. And also the district has a steering committee with CETA, CSEA partners and parents. For example, at our first steering committee, we had South Bay, the Family Resource Center be there. We had all associations, and we looked at school presentations of what's happening at each school, their leadership team, their highlights and next steps. I would like to share that the district steering committee ensures community school projects align with district and grant goals. And we will also be meeting in May to look at the annual report that will be due in July. And the state asked us to look at chronic absenteeism, suspension rates, academic achievement, where are they at? We need baselines in year 1 for the state grant to see the progress, and what are the measurable outcomes that we're doing to lift our students up and families. And again, that should be easy to do because this district has had an emphasis on data-driven decisions with multi-tiered levels of support. If we look at multi-tier levels of support, that's the whole child, community schools, the whole child strategies, our mission as whole child, with our learner center, with our LCAP, with our school site council, and plans for schools, success, everything goes well together. And we are at the site levels, they're seeing that there's alignment, the district level, there's alignment as well. So that if there's an idea, we always go back to how does that support student outcomes. I purposely put this slide not at the beginning. And by the way, some of our community school TOSAs or coordinators might be watching. So I want to say thank you for everything that you do. You are amazing. But it does not take one person, and community schools is not about one person. It's about the community. So it's our office staff in the front of the school welcoming when kids are late. I'm just glad you came. Why weren't you here yesterday? How can I help you? It's about looking at, okay, this is how the child is reading. How can we support them? Or what are the barriers? Maybe the child needed glasses and we had those lists and we got UCSD iMobile to come and do additional exams on the kids that we selected. So all of them got to get glasses, and we're still on the last phase with our last two schools, which was amazing to see beautiful smiles with children with their new glasses. They were just so excited. Today, UCSD brought me some glasses from kids that still needed some. So community school contacts, they're amazing educators, and they are bridges between our schools, families, and community resources, working complex systems that require multiple perspectives, skills, and resources to create meaningful impact. Our district is one of the few here in the area that has teachers on special assignments, and it does provide a wider lens in terms of at the data and the academics. There's that level of additional, let's say, rigor that we know that our children have limitless potential and could do a lot. So we're very thankful for approving this job description and these supports. Every school got to select, every school had a committee and they got to select their community schools TOS. So that's great. And then moving forward, there's a lot to do, but we are developing systems in place. We have a community school dashboard that we've been slowly building. We have the food distribution, we have MTSS framework, we have the learner profile, all of our PD sessions, many resources, and we have professional learning sessions going on. I've been working with San Diego County of Education, and they're actually also gonna come here to National School District and do personalized sessions for our staff versus everybody taking their cars and getting that horrible traffic in the 8:05 in the morning. They're gonna get to come here, and if they want, they also have those options to go. And then we're also gonna be part of the South Bay Summit in South Bay area, and our principals and our community schools TOSAs are gonna get to learn more about community schools. What are the districts in our South Bay area doing? Coronado, Chula Vista, Sweetwater. How can we work with our Sweetwater partners to support National City? So I get to meet with them and have meetings, and it's wonderful to see people that have the same, we just want to do what's right for kids. So that's very exciting. So those are the looking aheads. And then with that, thank you for your support. And do you have any questions or comments?
Do we have any? Yes. Trustee Gates.
April 29th in South Bay, in Burris Auditorium, which is at the end of my hallway, so if you want to come see my classroom after. But that's the next South Bay Summit, and I believe you all should have received some invitations to that. I've already claimed a spot, just so you know. That was one of the discussions, because in the same way that community schools is supposed to be about taking a look at the needs of students and families and taking a look at the assets that students and families in our community and our schools can offer, it is that level of partnership. And that was the discussion that we had, from the beginning, with those of us who went to like the CTA community schools conferences and things like that, is wait a minute, we send our students to Sweetwater schools, how can we have a continuity with what is provided one place to the next, that families can rely on, that's actually that we all can do the give and take for. And that's one of the things that the summit came from, that intentionality of our South Bay, our Below the 94 crew is trying to do. You said it's not a program. It can't be a program. We've been told that how many times, because programs are money related and stop when the money ends. It has to be the mindset that we hold. It has to be our commitment. It has to be the DNA of who we are. Is we are part of this community, and this community meets the needs of those in it. So I appreciate all that you brought. I'm wondering, and you said that the FRC was at one of the Family Resource Center was at one of the meetings that you had. What kind of community schools, community organizations collaborative could possibly be held, like pulling in our police department, our fire department, and the FRC and the UCSD parent university crew, and saying about, hey, all of you meet our needs, but how can, if we met together under the community schools umbrella, what other potential could there be for overlap? Because we're doing it at site level, we're doing it at district level, we're doing it with our surrounding districts. What about our resource partners? I'm just wondering what that possibility could potentially hold for us at some point in the future.
Are you thinking about like in the South Bay area
Or national city.
or National City?
Start here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've had resource, for example, at the back to school, we have most of those partners come together. And we actually have a planning meeting with Chief Hernandez in a few weeks for the back to school resource fair. We have a date. For the 5K, we also have a lot of the partners come together. I say it's one of the pros of me being able to work with community schools and parent engagement is that I get to connect people. So for example, with South Bay, we're developing a list of all of our partners, and they're like, Lynette, how do you have UCSD Parent University? And I told Dr. Morgan, okay, I love you, but I also know that what's best for kids is to share, our resources. And he's like, absolutely, I will be there. So when I came to the district, I said, I like to share, because if certain kids benefit, all kids benefit. So I've started working with Nayeli from Sweetwater. She is the program manager for community schools. And with South Bay, I try to go to most meetings. Most of those staff, that is their only responsibility, and sometimes it overlaps with other responsibilities. But we've started to develop great relationships where we're excited to build more together. And this is the second summit or mini summit that we have with South Bay, and we look forward to more. But we are creating kind of like behind the scenes resources for everybody to share.
Well, have you trained them on what community schools means.
Cool.
The FRC and our police departments don't have, have you actually done training for them so that they can see better how, what needs they could step into?
Yeah, so that's a great idea that we can move forward with. We had our TOSA start in January officially, so we'll take that suggestion and get to work on it. We did have the South Bay here for our steering committee, so the FRC is part of, they know what community schools is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trustee Lopez?
Thank you again, Dr. Ferris, for the presentation. I had one question about the steering committee. So how does or how will the steering committee identify district and grant goals outside of the LCAP? So how are they different? Because the funding source of it, and then how will this be communicated to families or parents regarding to what the LCAP is and what our goals is, and then the community schools is, and yeah.
So each school started having their own launch, and they have a specific community schools committee where they come up with goals based on their data. So we actually developed a mini dashboard for our TOSAs and coordinators, and with their teams, they're developing goals. We want to look at attendance, or we want to look at how can we support kids coming to school or wanting to come to school. We want to look at how do we support students in developing stronger comprehension in reading. So each school is developing their own goals and their baselines that we will be turning in. And it's slowly, but we want to have something that's very strong, and we want to be very intentional. And we will definitely, and I know that schools have, because the parents tell me that they've been working very closely with their schools to come up with their community schools plans that have to somehow align to the school's SPSA. And then there's some alignment with the LCAP, but it's their own unique to the needs of that particular school.
Thank you. I don't believe I recall specifically what each school site's goals are. Would it be possible to just get a brief overview of those? I mean, maybe not right now, but email to us or somewhere so we can know better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Trustee Sarmiento?
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you for your presentation. As I go through this booklet of stuff that you gave us, it appears to me you've been a little bit busy. And I know that you are the lead person in bringing this to the National School District. Again, I want to thank you for that, because this was no small feat. And I'm very impressed with as much as detail as you've gone into working with our parents, working with our community. And this is so important. And I see really good things happening in the future. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
And I appreciate our the board, our principals. I have to say, when application time was crunch time, it was 11 o'clock at night, and I wasn't up document, and Dr. Lopez popped up as a little picture icon. And I'm like, I don't normally call at 11, but I see you there. So it's, also, our principals, thank you so much. And for our staff and community to embrace this. So thank you.
Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda?
Thank you. I would like to ditto Ms. Sarmiento's comments because I can see that a lot of work and heart got put into all of this. I know that you have a team behind you, but thank you for your presentation here today. And I know that there's a lot of work that gets put into the Back to School Resource Fair. I've attended, I think, every single one so far. And it is a lot of work, but a lot of volunteers that get and a lot of donations. There is somebody who comes out and does haircuts, and I don't know why they wouldn't do our hair, but whatever. But it's very unique on what gets put into that. People come in and it's very private, so it's not like you're in the middle of the mini park and they cut your hair in front of everybody. So, they give you some privacy. But thank you, you're everybody who has the hand in all of this. And I look forward to all the success of all of our schools. And I look forward to the summit. Maybe we can take a stroll to your class. We'll sit in and see what kind of grade we get. You're not going to teach that day? All right. And thank you for everybody who has stayed up until past midnight with you? No, I'm kidding. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? None? Thank you so much for.
Thank you.
your great presentation. Going down to educational service, item B, approved CT 4359 with ATX learning for special staff. Approval of this item will allow the district to contact ATX Learning to provide specialized staff for current hard-to-find special education positions. Do I have a motion?
Motion with discussion?
We have a motion by trustee Gates and a second by trustee Bettencourt Castaneda. Please vote. Any discussion, any questions?
It's,
Trustee Gates?
I have, so a starting question, one of the pieces that is in here, you said that we recently approved a similar item. The company approved on March 11th no longer has the capacity to meet the district's needs. Can you clarify what that means for a starter? And then I do have some other thoughts.
So they should have been able to provide us with staff, and I think that the person declined the position. And so they didn't have any additional staff to offer. And so in an effort to be able to fill it, we have to select a different vendor.
Okay, thank you. Then we've been having the discussion with regard to reaching out to other vendors for roles that are ours. And so this is an us role. This should be an us role. And I do know, because other districts are feeling it, and in fact, other districts have been offering sign-on bonuses that have been sufficient to draw people from some of our smaller districts to go to other districts. And so we have lost some of our ed specialists with that role. And this, that is a problem that we are facing and dealing with. My concern is what are our long-term intentions towards filling roles with our own staff, letting this should be a Band-Aid that does not become a cast. It does not become something permanent. It does not become something that is it doesn't turn into, keeping in the same metaphor. It's not now, dissolvable stitches that are forever somewhere in my body. It does not become part of us. So, how do we make sure that this is for a time? And how do we encourage our own staff and provide for resources for our own staff to pursue the further credentialing that leads them into these spaces? I know that a long time ago, and personally before I had to clear my credentials, that credential clearance was part of what districts did, right? And we lost that as as money was reduced. And I understand it, I completely understand it. But I feel like we're hurting ourselves in some ways by not having a plan that would support current staff to possibly step into these roles. I don't know how many times I hear of teacher's aides who, I started as a teacher's aide and then well, that requires time. It requires the finances to pay for it. It requires something that makes that door open. I don't know anybody, well, truthfully, I don't know anybody who can actually give up their full-time job completely in order to get the credential for what they're already kind of working in. They just need some more classes to actually take over. I feel like we need to do something on purpose here and quit having these empty spots. Again, there is no blame here. Well, if I had blame, I have a couple districts to call and tell them to quit cherry picking. But, and the reminder, side issue, the reminder that the $10,000 signing bonuses are nice, but very often if you look at your salary and the increases that we've been able to give, the overall salary may actually end up being there. Here over time. Please don't let people distract you by the flash of a one-time payment, especially, hopefully, prayerfully, if we're doing right by you here. Back to the main point. How can we quit farming out? And what can we do about it? How temporary can we make these roles while pursuing?
I do want to clarify a few things. First of all, we haven't farmed out anything yet. We've been trying, but we have not done that yet. And just to clarify, you made a statement earlier that said that some people are leaving for bonuses or somewhere else. That has not happened here. So I want to clarify that the vacancy has nothing to do with someone leaving for a stipend somewhere else. So that's good news.
Well, it started, 5 years ago or something, that the first $10,000 or $15,000 offer was made, and it was for our speech language, it was for counselors, it was for school psychs, and it was for ed specialists. And so it's happened again recently, and it's for a very similar group, and it's just.
One of the nice things for us is that in our agreement, our bargaining agreement, our teachers do receive a stipend their entire career. So when you multiply that stipend, multiplied by 30 years, it exceeds the $10,000 that some of the signing bonuses are offering. And we do know that there are teachers who stay 3 years, they take the $10,000 and they'll go to another district for another $10,000 or $15,000. So I do know that there are some districts who have actually stopped those stipends because they haven't panned out to be a return on investment for them. But in terms of getting the information out, we do let our staff know that there's a cohort that they can join. Most of them join the county office cohort. They don't take everyone because they only have so many spaces, but you have to get in on a yearly basis. And we do have a couple of teachers who have done that route. Yeah, we have a few that are going to be joining us, but unfortunately they can't start, they're in the program right now, but they cannot take the position until the 26-27 school year. Or can't interview for it until the 26-27 school year, because that's when they are actively able to teach those courses. That doesn't mean that we're not continuing to recruit. We always are, and the position's still open. So if we do get applicants, again, we said this last time that this is just a temporary solution, and if we get an applicant tomorrow, we're interviewing that applicant, and hopefully they meet our standards and we will hire them. In addition, we are participating in the countywide, I have it right here, hiring fair that's coming up on April 18th. And so we're there representing, we're not doing a lot of hiring here, but we do have some vacancies that we are filling. And and those are the special ed positions. But we are trying to get people in the role, and as I said last time, it's not for lack of applicants. We have applicants. We just haven't been able to fill it for a variety of reasons. And sometimes, we are looking to make sure that they meet the NSD standard too.
And I will add, for this particular item, the attached contract ends June 30th, 2026. So this approval would only last that short amount of time. And I do believe that these positions have been posted since November. And so, we do have an obligation to make sure that our students get those required minutes in their IEPs. So we want to make sure that we don't fall short of those this year.
Trustee Lopez?
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to clarify something Trustee Gates mentioned. So we currently don't have an internal or in-house BITSA induction program for new teachers. We do? Oh, I think that's just wanted to clarify. Do we have our teachers who are new able to clear the credential with us through this? Okay, just wanted to clarify. And then
I hope you come to the colloquium that's coming up
okay.
to celebrate them.
When is it? Oh, you.
I have to look it up. It's in April. Oh, at end of April.
Okay. And then I remember when I was an intern credential teacher, so I would teach and then go to school. So I'm just wondering if we have any partnerships with National or SDSU where we can get those intern teachers for the specific role or any new roles in SPED. I know we would take Friday classes, but we were committed because we were there for this. So just wondering what those partnerships look like.
Yes, I said last time, there's not many universities or organizations that do it. I think it's expanded, but there are a few. The most popular one is the county office, but there are a few universities that have the intern piece. That's one partnership that we have. But we also have an MOU for student teaching, doing administrative hours, doing your counseling credential, your psychology credential. We have MOUs for almost all of the positions within our district to be able to either student teach or do the clinical hours that are needed to move forward, either for an admin credential or a teaching credential, special ed credential, or a PBS credential. So that's really nice. We have about 14, they're not all universities, but about 14 partnerships that we have. And we have MOUs, and they're starting to come in, right, Dr. Cochran?
Definitely.
To be renewed for the new year. So you'll be seeing those in the annual contract list as they come up. But we do have lots of partnerships, and we are placing either student teachers or potential interns if there's any available that want to partner with us. So it's one thing is to have an agreement, and then the other is, are people requesting to be in our district, or are they asking us to take on some of those candidates in our district? And then there was one other question that you had that I wanted. Oh, I know, the colloquium is April 28th at 3:30.
Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda?
Thank you. I know you mentioned that the San Diego County officer that has the program and there's limited space. Have they taken into consideration with that many districts have a difficult time with filling positions? And so with the limited space, have they considered expanding their program?
I'm not aware. They had to write the proposal to get this approved with the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. So I'm not sure what their application said of how many, but yes, they've definitely created it because of the need. They've created it in a few areas. Science, we have a couple of teachers who are getting some supplemental courses through the STEM supplemental program that they have. So our STEM teachers are going through that. They have early childhood for TK and for our special ed, or ed services credential. So I don't know what they can expand to, but that would be a very good request that we can make. I don't know if they're allowed to, but that's an excellent idea.
Trustee Gates?
When it comes to the universities, because I know you have held numerous job fairs, Dr. Kevin, since you have started. You have done hiring a lot of hiring events. I'm wondering, do the universities hold, or could we hold meet and greets for like, for those students who are getting ready to graduate from college, from their credentialing? Like, could we do a come meet National School District kind of event that might, because if you aren't from here and you're going to school, unless you have any idea of neighborhoods, I mean, we are a smaller community. We might not have people realizing that we're sitting here. And so, like, what kind of invites could we do to ed departments so that it's not us relying on faculty at the college to send us the 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever student teachers, but we're actually going, you really need to meet us. I don't know. That's just a random idea.
That's a good idea. We do get invited to several universities. They do hiring fairs. We have not gone because we aren't really hiring that many people to go to Las Vegas, or, you know, they get UNLV invites us. San Francisco State invites us. All the universities, I could say, I think I get multiple universities throughout the country on a weekly basis. But we do have maintained local recruiting and relationships, but that doesn't mean we can't go somewhere else to recruit. But I get them on a regular basis. Sometimes I'll say, oh, UC Santa Cruz wants us to go and recruit, or just all the universities pop in my head because my daughter's was applying to universities, but we do get those invites. It would require travel to go over there, but we have typically stayed local.
Does anybody ask you to go to Hawaii?
Not yet.
You're offering.
I'm offering.
But I get them often.
Because even those 14 or so that we're talking about who we provide, and they provide that collaborative service to, you know, if we had an invite for their students, we already have those relationships. Even if we don't go far afield and go, we want our San Diego Community College people, who a lot of them will be San Diego Community College raised, or San Diego Community raised. We want them to be looking here.
I will say that recently we have a great partnership with Southwestern College for people who are interested in going into education. So they don't have their bachelor's yet, but they're in a pipeline to get their AA in liberal studies. And recently Dr. Vargas went and spoke to a group of people who may be interested in being an instructional assistant and maybe starting out that way and into getting their feet wet into education. And he spoke to them. I don't know if you want to add how that went, but we do try to reach out. Unfortunately, they're not at the bachelor's level yet or the credential level, but that's coming down the pike, where we do get several people from Southwestern College who come and volunteer and do their hours here because they have to complete 45 hours of observation. So they are coming to us, and we help support that transition.
Because I'm often surprised, talking to friends whose children are graduating. I have a friend whose child is doing speech language pathology, but never thought about being a speech language pathologist for school. Or, those who are graduating with their nursing degrees, but they aren't thinking about being a school nurse, and so I feel like sometimes that we're going, hello, and we have a lot to advertise.
Yeah, I think we definitely can always do more, for sure. And I think that's an effort that I think, right now we have it's interesting of the vacancies, we typically don't have vacancies, and that's very unique to our district. I guess it's, it's interesting when you go into Edgerton, we have substitute vacancies. You can sub for various positions, but it is something to be proud of that we don't have that fill rate on an ongoing basis. But we certainly love the ideas, and I do think that we can expand our efforts to ensure that we get quality candidates to apply. And we are willing to do the partnership for students who are just thinking about going into education, recent high school graduates going into college, to any student who's already got their bachelor's and not sure they want to go into education. The county office has a program for that too. For those that have a bachelor's, no credential, and they're thinking about going into education. So that's another avenue. I actually have a little, if you look on our website, we put this little, it's under HR, we put a little, it's like a postcard, and it has all the different programs that are available through the county office depending on your specific situation. Bachelor's, no bachelor's, you already have a multiple subject, but you want to go into special ed. So they have a lot of options.
Trustee Sarmiento?
Thank you. Dr. Kevin, you touched on what I was going to comment on. I think we need to plant the seed while they're young. I know Sweetwater High School, when their students are graduating, they give a packet of information. It could be cap and gown, it could be announcements, whatever. But I think that's something that we could include to send it over to the high school and every high school in the South Bay, why not? But also too, we do have a gentleman who is from National City, attended our schools on the Southwestern College Board, who I think would be a great help in advertising through Southwestern College. But it just takes us to plant the seed, because if you think about it, we have a handful of teachers from National City who wanted to stay. National City is such a tight-knit community. Why move out of it? I know a friend of my son's who teaches up in San Francisco, and it's hard for her to come back now that she's established herself there. But doggone it, she was from National City, Sweetwater High School, and she moved away. So I think we should do our best to keep them here while we can and let them know that they're cared about.
The other, just that'll come to us later, will be, we are starting to establish partnerships with high school interns too. So they're getting to know the district, didn't know what we had available to them as a potential work option in the future. So that's also another area we can expand on.
Dr. Brady?
I just want to say, Sarah, I know you're a teacher, and welcome aboard in that instructional aid role, but hopefully if you're interested in what you're hearing, you come and see Dr. Kempin, and we'll let you know how you can get on that track if you're interested in special education. All right, get you back on. All right, come meet and greet us.
Going down, any other comments or questions?
Before we go.
Let's open.
Going down to human resources, Ms. Ross. Approve job description for Director of Information Technology. Approval of this job description will support the district with information and technology needs.
This is to approve a job description for Director of Information Technology. When we started this process, as Dr. Brady mentioned earlier, we had about 20% of the required pieces for insurance coverage. We are now fully covered and 100% completed with all of the pieces, which is why we felt we needed an executive director to come in and get that done for us. We are now looking at what we need at this point in time and our next journey as a district, and we're looking at creating a position for a Director of Information Technology. We used to have a position similar to this, but it also oversaw more ed services, educational software, and assessment. So that's why we created this position.
questions?
Well, let's make the motion with
Oh,
discussion.
okay. Do I have a motion?
Second,
You have a motion by trustee Sarmiento and a second by trustee Gates. Please vote.
Discussion first.
Discussion.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, I was noticing in the educational requirements, says a bachelor's degree and directed relay to field, yada, yada, yada. I didn't see anything about any requirements on their knowledge. I remember back in the day when I used to do placement for IT type positions, there would be things like A++ certification, COBOL, Linux. I don't see any of that in here, and why is that?
It does have site mentor certification on there, and certainly we have reduced the experience level from an executive director. But certainly if they have those requirements or that experience, that'd be great. We do know that we're also open to having people who have the experience, but maybe not the certifications. And once they begin the position, we'll be going through that process. But it is on there just as a site mentor certification preferred.
One other thing, we did send this to Mr. Loftus to look over. And this is very similar to Dwayne's job description, but again, a little less experience because we don't need the extensive rebuilding of some of our networks and systems that we needed at the time that we hired Mr. Cossey. We did learn from the county at that time that those credentials often change and evolve quite a bit, and your job description can become out of date. But of course, those will be listed on their resume, and we are going to be reaching out to the county to help us with sitting in on our interviews, our screening process and such.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Going down to item 13, business services. Amend CT 4336 with the Swim Uphill Foundation to provide swim lessons for the second grade students. Approval of this amendment will allow for an additional $5,000 to be paid to the Swim Uphill to cover optional expenses. Any comments or any discussion?
I'd like to make a motion
A second.
to amend.
Motion by trustee Gates, second by trustee Bettencourt Castaneda. With discussion, please. Any discussion?
Which discussion?
I'm just asking, is there any discussion? Please. Oh, I didn't see your leg put on, that's fine. Okay. Ms. Bettencourt Castaneda.
Thank you. Could you elaborate on the reason why we have to pay the additional $5,000, please?
Sure. Of course, this swim lessons contract is a type of contract that we would call a professional service contract. And at the beginning of the year, we brought this to the board back in September, and the cost at that time was $35,000. It is important to note that we did, after some work on our own, approach Swim Uphill and request that the program be delivered in a little bit of a different way. Specifically, what I mean is we requested that they rent the pool and that they really take care of an end-to-end delivery of those swim lessons for our students. Not that we're going to rent the pool or participate partially in, running the program. We are completely hands-off with this group, our partners, okay? They expressed to us at that time that they might have some cost increases as a result of doing that. And they weren't 100% sure at the time. And we said, well, if you have cost increases, please let us know. We shared with them the amendment process to bring an amendment to the board with indication of their whatever costs were increased. I did meet with them by phone to discuss that question of why the increased costs, and they said that Partially it was pool rental expenses. Partially it was insurance related. Of course, National School District had removed itself from the insurance or liability loop completely when we had them become the end-to-end operator, and a little bit of administrative costs. That was what they shared with me. I will say that professional services contracts can be a little bit all over the place in terms of valuation, how much of professional services for some sort of enrichment or after school or broad course of study type contract might be. So then I started to have some thoughts around validating, is this cost that we have with them, is it reasonable, right? And so, important to note, they have a $50,000 grant with two $25,000 grants that they've received. And then on top of that, our pricing was $35,000 to the district. So that's a total of $85,000, right? This additional $5,000 would total to $90,000 total. So in thinking about cost validation, I looked back at other years that we have had this particular service. And I will say, being not new to the district, but new enough that I don't remember past years of swim contracts, I found one in 15-16 with Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, where we spent $55,000 on that particular set of swim lessons. I found another one in 2016-17 with National City, the City of National City for their pool that was $40,000. Thinking about contract, dollar valuation, we have had some significant escalations since then. We've all been to the grocery store. We know that. Back in 2015, $9 was the minimum wage, right? Now it's $16.90. That's an 87% increase. If you were to multiply that times the $55,000 contract that I mentioned, it would be $103,400. If you were to multiply that times the $40,000 contract that I mentioned, that would come to $75,000. So from cost validation, is it in the ballpark? It's definitely much more than we paid in those years, but we haven't had this program. My understanding is in quite a few years, and I think that is a portion of the difference in cost. Speaking with Ed Services, they've done some site visits. The program is very well managed. It is generously staffed with approximately a 1-to-4 ratio. That generous staffing is part of the safety that, of course, we all want for our students. I would also, just add that this being my first year with this particular program, if expense becomes an issue or a concern, I think we would all be open to evaluating the costs and finding if there's perhaps a less expensive way to deliver that in the future. At the same time, I would say that part of my recommendation to approve this amendment at this time is the fact that the program hasn't been fully delivered. We have this program will go all the way through May 16th, right? If, for example, we didn't approve the amendment to that agreement, knowing that the district had requested that they become the end-to-end operator and that we don't participate in any portion of the pool procurement or anything like that, it could result in some sort of dispute. I'm not saying that it would. I'm just saying these are the thoughts that I have around, they may say, well, we might need to end the program early or something. There could be any number of things that might result back and forth. So what I hope I've been able to provide is a little bit of a reasoning, a little bit of a reason for why it might be, different from the before COVID times when we ran this particular program. But also, a willingness to receive any feedback that the board has.
But in actuality, we only paid it'll be totally 35 or 40,000.
So 35,000 was the original September contract, and then this amendment is for 5,000. So it'd be a total of 40 on our end, and two $25,000 grants that they have as well.
So we're only paying 40, which is the total. So we're still basically only paying 40, which is not the going rate. So we're really making out, even though we considered it was supposed to be 0. But, so we're okay. I was just wanting to know what was the reason for the increase.
Sure.
Because this is benefiting our students. This is something that I think all our students need to learn how to swim. We are a coastal community, and this is something that for the safety of our students and our families. So I wouldn't want to lose the program if we can still keep it at a minimal cost. To have to pay that entire 90,000 or 80 whatever thousand, I think that would be an expense that I don't think that we would be able to sustain. So I was just wanting to get some feedback or to get the background on that. So 40 rather than 80 or 90 is probably more sustainable. So thank you for the explanation. I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you. I appreciate your
A lot
thoughts
of
on that.
sense. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Gates.
Thank you. So you said that they are taking more than end to end. So my question, this has been around for a while. My kids did it. I will throw out a little extra caveat. Please send your child with their own hairbrush, because it's possible that one of mine came home and within a week and a half, we started seeing mobile little buggy things, because that child shared a hairbrush with somebody after swim lessons. So please take your own hairbrush. That's an extra thing. But when it comes to like our teacher accountability for this, because it's their class, their field, essentially a field trip, so they will be taking their students. I don't know. I've never thought about what the teachers do, because I would assume that most of our teachers are not trained as swimming coaches. So in what capacity are they present? Just so that everybody's aware.
So the teachers are not in the water, and they are not giving the lessons themselves. They're really there to kind of manage and supervise student safety as they get in and out of the pool. They're kind of maintaining, somebody has to go use the restroom, that type of thing. It's just that management and safety piece when they're out of the pool. But they're not required, nor do they go into the water to provide any of the lessons. And they do have to be present, though, and engaged.
Yeah. Well, it's just that difference between if we were to go to the Y, if I were taking my kids, I could drop my kids off at the Y. And that's not what a school district does. So just for the saying out loud of how teachers are present and supervising. But yes, that's what I was wanting to have clarified for me and anybody else who's wondering.
Absolutely. And again, our staff is amazing, because I do know that our second grade teachers, those who have gone first from those schools, have shared their resources and communications, what works best, as it is a newer trip that we're doing with our students. But again, lots of positive feedback, excitement, and happy kids. And kids really, I think Miss Melanie's went by yesterday, I believe, and they were learning how to float on their backs. So it's really great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Brady.
Yes, if you recall, back 10 years ago when we were swimming, the Camacho Gym pool was in desperate need of renovation. Around COVID, they shut the pool down, and they started those renovations with an agreement with another school district to help offset some of those costs. That other school district decided not to continue that partnership, and the city had to take on all of those costs themselves. What resulted is a big, beautiful, brand new pool facility over at the Camacho Pool. But I assume, in seeing the cost of the pool rental, that it's much more expensive to rent the pool now
that it's new than it was 10 years ago. So that's also another part of the puzzle.
Thank you, Dr. Brady. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Trustee Sarmiento.
Thank you. You're talking to her about pushing her button and you don't even look when I push your button. What's up with that? I just wanted to add that at the risk of dating myself, I took swim lessons from Lincoln Acres School. Back in the day, at the time, it was for fourth graders.
Yeah, it's third for third.
Do you know this one?
No.
You were
I just learned the basics. I just learned the basics, but I never really learned how to, because they don't go into it that much. But all 6 of my kids, I insisted that they learn how to swim because I told them someday you might have to save me. So they all know how to swim, and that's all that matters.
Thank you, Ms. Sarmiento. Let's vote, please. Going down to item B, accept donations, $5,000 from the Wellington Stars to John Otis School for teachers to purchase classroom and student supplies. $500 from the San Diego Alumni Club, by Beta Phi to Hollywood School for literacy efforts. $2,000 from Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundations to Central School for nutrition education. $250 from the Classroom of the Future to National School District for any school and district needs.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. That's it.
Item passes unanimously.
We will now have board cabinet communications.
So sorry.
Those are gone.
Trustee Gates.
All right. Well, I will start with congratulations to Dr. Fillion and welcome to a different seat and a different view and different weight to carry. And I live rather close, and yeah, give me a call. So if we're all willing and able and spoken at length about from the beginning to the end about whoever ends up in that spot as our next superintendent, that we will do what we can to make sure that we help this place continue to thrive, and to do that, supporting, pushing, encouraging, reminding, all those things along the way. So please make us work for it. I want to also thank all those who expressed interest in the role and showed us their hope and belief in the National School District through that process. Thank you to Dr. Cameron and Mr. Nastos for their wisdom and guidance. And thank you to the team for giving your time, because that is extra time, and keeping our eye on students and what next could look like. Dr. Brady, I'm not talking to you yet.
No problem.
Okay.
I'm not ready.
I didn't think you were. I do want to do a quick kudos to IT after listening to our cybersecurity report. They have responded with adaptability. They have responded with intentionality. They have we have had a lot of growth, and it has been very cool to hear from some people directly about the fact that they're wanting to see what more they can do and how they can grow. That IT was something that they enjoyed, kind of stepped into, but they have seen ways in which they could really enhance what they know themselves. And so I'm really kind of excited to see what happens with our IT department. I do have a request. Per our last meeting, it was brought to us that years ago, we gave up our nurses and entered a contract with Radies and went through health services in a different way. This is one of those spaces where, as we heard, we moved roles from our people to other people's people. I would like to have a report on that. It would be possible for pretty much any role that we have to turn into a outside company taking care of needs until we realize that we don't even have any inside roles anymore. We hopefully would not let that happen. You are not going to get an AI teacher to replace Trustee Lopez or myself in classrooms. There's no AI robot who will love kids and remember that some of them did not eat this morning, and who will listen well enough and analyze their needs. That's not going to happen, but that doesn't mean we can't lose that role in other ways. I would like to know the background of why it was changed from our own health staff to Radies. I would like to have a cost out comparison on what it costs for what we pay them versus what we could pay our own. And I know that some of that would be negotiable because nurses are not on our current negotiated list. And very often, school districts do nurses as a separate staffing formula entity. Part of that includes for me information on our daily needs as met by our health departments. So everything from regular needs, assuming we are still writing out the handwritten, I'm sending a student to you in the health office, and you're writing down on a piece of paper that goes home to mom and dad that, this sweet, 5-year-old took a tumble and scraped their elbows and knees, and we document those things and we have that information. So we have the regular stuff. We have I'm running a fever. We have my stomach doesn't feel good, and find out that we have a smelling test that day, and that's why our stomach doesn't feel good, or we forgot to eat. We've got all those things. But I also feel like we need to know our more serious needs. How often do we have a serious incident? How often do we have the emergency calls? Again, I know we document it, but the culminating numbers I feel are important in the conversation. That also includes the specifics of what our nurses oversee and our health clerks oversee, as far as for diabetes students with GI tubes, some of the things that require a nurse to oversee them and cannot be done by anyone else. Like, what kind of needs do we have there? How are, because if we like to have this conversation, we should have all of those components to be discussing whether continuing with Radies is the appropriate thing. And please do not hear me say that I think that contract is, or the people from Radies are not standing by us. That is not what I'm saying. I am speaking to the issue of having lost our own staff. That's what I'm speaking to. Not whether Radies is equipped. It's not that. It's not you, it's me. This is where I'm at. So I have a lot of components that I would really like to hear. It does not have to be the next meeting, because I think our next meeting's in half a minute, and that's kind of quick, and I know I'm asking for a number of components. Nurses are another role that I know are hard to find. I get it. That may be why we sent this out in the first place. That doesn't mean that we couldn't be bringing them back. That is my very large request with a whole lot of details and maybe other things I'll think of later. My last board communication. Michaela turns 22 on Friday. And we'll be graduating from Point Loma Nazarene in 3.5 weeks. So I know we have another board meeting, but I figured that in between now and then, but I figured I'd link them because it's just, my baby is graduating, and that child has been a National School District child from when they showed up. So, I don't know if Michaela's inviting I don't know who's Michaela's inviting. Michaela's working on the list. But I will throw out quickly, Ms. Benitez probably should pay attention to any mail that comes from the Gates house, because that's already been under discussion. But thank you for the evening. Thank you to our presenters.
Trustee, I was gonna call you right first, I'm sorry, Lopez.
Thank you. Just wanna hope everyone had a restful spring break. I'm still in mine, but I've used that time to to visit our schools and see our spring intercession program last week, which was really nice. 2 side notes on that. I really love seeing our beautiful fields at El Toyon. Very excited just to see our students enjoying that, and also wondering, Dr. Cochran, about the possibility of bringing back that conversation of a possibility of another bond, just because of the success that we've had with this one. Would love to see that come back for discussion with my colleagues and our leadership. And I really enjoyed seeing the ballet folklorico, the BMX. I know that the writing, and that little girl was like, I can't do it. And like, yes, you can. And she did. And just knowing that those were probably core memories for a lot of our students and how they learned how to ride a bike. So it was really nice, and seeing the engagement in the coding robotics. And so I really love seeing that from our programs, from our vendors. So thank you. And also thank you for the walkthrough of Rancho yesterday. Again, I think yesterday we just saw a lot of math. So seeing all of that engagement and the angles and just the rationale and the military time. So it was really good to see our students just loved being there like they themselves. So it was wonderful. Thank you to our staff and to our teachers. And again, thank you to our presenters and all the work that you do. And I can read that. Okay. What did I write? I do want to say, echoing my colleagues' sentiments, thank you to all of our applicants and our candidates. It was really great to see your heart and your years of service to our students wherever you are serving. And I know, and I pray that you will land in that next role, in that next district, or wherever that will be, that you will be needed. I truly believe that. And again, also, again, congrats and welcome to a new role, Dr. Philia. We are excited to see your growth in this role as well. And yeah, excited for tomorrow. So yeah, see you guys in 12 hours.
Trustee Sarmiento.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I also was a student when we had 6th grade camp back in the day, so that's dating myself again. And
Just a couple weeks ago.
And also in response to your comments, Trustee Gates, we did away with the nurses, not because we wanted to. I can assure you that we were facing budgetary issues. that is also around the time that we did away with our transportation program, sold all our buses and contracting with a private company to bus our students around, just to try to save money on the maintenance of the buses. And of course, after that was all said and done, realized that we actually were doing better with busing our students ourselves. So as far as the nurses go, yeah, I would love to see our own nurses here. But, you know, again, you gotta look at the numbers and see, is it profitable or not even profitable, but is it something that we should be doing? At one time, we had decreased the number of days that the nurses were at the school, so they would be at one school 3 days, another school 2 days, and divided that amongst the 10 schools, or it might have been 9 schools at the time. But we had to just find ways to save money any way that we could. And unfortunately, the days when the nurse wasn't at the school site was usually when something would happen. And so we realized that it was better just to bring in a private organization and their nurses to be there every single day of the week. And that was just because we wanted what was best for our kids and try to save money at the same time. So that's why we did that. What else? There was something else out there. I already forgot. You can get back to me if I remember. If you'll call me. Well, after that.
Okay, Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda.
Thank you. I would like to, first and foremost, thank all the applicants for having taken the time and been a part of our process for the superintendent search. And also congratulate Dr. Filial for being selected as our next superintendent. I was going to mention you, but I look forward to working with you. And I know that you will make us proud and will serve our community well. So thank you. Now I shared a lot more words with you yesterday, so I won't add on to that. And welcome back to all of our families, students, and staff from spring break. No, yes, spring break. I'm like, what month are we in? Thank you, Dr. Ferris, for the presentation here this evening, and our SRO that presented with you. Hernandez, right?
Oh.
Okay. I know that he probably has an extended day, so thank you for having him here this evening. And also Terry Loftus for his presentation. It's like I always say, it's a lot of valuable information, especially in this very difficult time in the cyber world. And let's see. I also have a graduate this year. My middle child will be graduating in a few weeks. It's coming so fast. I thought, oh, I have time. No, I don't. It's coming around. So for those, if we have anybody watching, my Ernie, maybe one of his teachers we'll see him. We'll be watching. He will be graduating from SDSU. Physical therapy, well, kinesiology. And will be going off to graduate school to be a physical therapist. So, no, but hopefully he will be staying here. But yes, and with that, I think. Oh, I look forward to tomorrow's event, our Green Ribbon School Recognition. So. With that, have a good evening. Thank you for being here. We were not talking to ourselves.
Thank you, Trustee Avalos. First, I want to say congratulations to Dr. Brady on continuing to be our superintendent of National School District for 3 more months. And I also wanted to congratulate Dr. Filia and the board on your selection of Dr. Filia as the next superintendent. You know, I've worked with her for only a year now, but in a short time, I've come to know her as a very qualified thoughtful, respectful leader and partner. And not just a partner to myself or our executive cabinet team, but a partner to all. And I wish you the best of luck as you prepare for your new role. And also want to thank all of the many individuals that expressed an interest and applied in the position as well. I want to mention to the board that Swim Uphill, during my phone conversation with them, asked me to extend an invite to all of you to go and see Swim Uphill's swim lessons in action. I've heard that it's a great experience from our Ed Services team who's been out several times. Want you to know that that's Dr. Filia, Las Palmas Bowl. Thanks.
Can we jump off the diving board?
You need to sign a waiver first, Trustee Betancourt Castañeda. Thank you. And I do want to share that, there were a couple of requests that came in closing communications tonight. I do want you to know that those requests were noted and we'll be following up on those. I also wanted to share one last piece of information with the board that I'm disappointed in. I did receive a notice from Luminace LLC letting us know that they are not moving forward with our projects or any other future projects. And that was very disappointing to me. They cited the change to the law specifically as a large reason. I also want to share with you, although I was surprised by that, I was also surprised to learn that with our agreements, both the contract that we had spent time negotiating as well as the proposal over a 25-year period of savings, I have learned that there is another company that is interested in taking the same contract and the same proposal, not changing it at all, and moving forward with building the projects and operating them. I am waiting to hear a little bit of information. I do want to say to the board, obviously the clock is ticking, especially with the July 1 change and the big, beautiful bill. I don't believe that at this point that we can guarantee that anything like that would move forward, but I do want to let the board know that there is still a chance that this other vendor could end up coming and picking up where we left off. Of course, we would need to make sure we receive a formal offer from them and then conduct a little bit of due diligence. But I do want the board to know that on future board meetings, very possible that you may see postings or an additional 4217 procurement board item, and that's the reason for it. You know, we knew that this would be a late thing because of the change in the law and that we were sneaking in right before the end, right? And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But at the moment, we still may have another offer on the table, and I'm sure I'll have more to share with you in our next board meeting.
Dr. Kepner.
I want to congratulate Dr. Filia in your new appointment and new role in the upcoming year. Congratulations. I also want to thank our new employees and thank Juan for staying your first board meeting. Thank you for being here and welcome to NSD. Thank you, Terry Loftus, for your presentation. And I just want to say that Terry's always been very supportive, not only to NSD, but to me as a former superintendent. As a small district, we couldn't do the work that needed to be done for IT and cybersecurity, and his team really always came in, always supported me, and he helped me with so many infrastructure things that I didn't even know I could do. But thank you, Terry. And thank you, Dr. Ferris, for your presentation tonight, and Officer Hernandez for coming. I know it's a lot of work, and all the principals and staff who support the community schools. I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. And while you guys have graduates, I have a student that's my daughter's going into college. And we just finished the whole round of college acceptances and all of that, and rejections and waitlists. And she'll be going to UW-Madison, Wisconsin. So she'll be going far. Yes.
Buy her warm jacket.
So that's it. Thank you.
Yes, well, I just want to start off by again saying thank you to the board for showing your confidence in me, and I look forward to stepping into that role. Very big shoes to fill, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. Also, I just would want to give you a save the date announcement. So our annual National School District 5K Fun Run, the date was changed, it was slightly shifted. So Saturday, May 9th at Pepper Park will be the day. So that morning, we're just inviting everybody. Those registration invitations will be sent out early next week. And so all the registered participants will receive a free t-shirt with a design done by one of our own students from Olive Wood. And so we're just excited to have that event. It's a great community event. So everyone is invited to come join in the fun. And then additionally, I too have my youngest son who will be headed off to college as well. So perhaps we'll see each other at the airport because he's off to Notre Dame. So also cold, need to buy him some warm clothing. So thank you.
All right, so I know it's late and a lot of things have already been said, but I definitely want to start my comments by saying congratulations to Dr. Filia. When I announced to the board back in October, I knew that it would be a journey to find just the right fit. And I think in looking at how long it has taken to make that decision, that the board has taken your time in really making sure to be thoughtful in that selection. I can only imagine having amazing, qualified candidates in front of you, both those who applied and those who actually interviewed. There were probably lots of discussions because there are a lot of people that probably would love to work down here in National School District. So I know it wasn't an easy decision, probably for you, but I want to thank you for really taking the time to come together. My number one thing that I really cared about was making sure that whoever you selected was going to love and care about our community, our students, and our staff. And I think you achieved that. I do believe, not to say that others wouldn't, but I do believe, Dr. Filia, that just your emotion today in your opening remarks when you were announced shows how deeply that you've fallen in love with National School District over the last year. The comments of your peers that you've been a great team member, and I know that you'll continue the work and working together with everyone. So I'm proud to have you moving into this seat, and I'll do whatever I can to support you in your transition. So congratulations. I have a couple of other things on my list as well. I do want to say we're excited for tomorrow morning and all day. We'll be hosting the California Green Ribbon Schools Award Ceremony. And special thank you to Trustee Betancourt Castaneda, who has spent the last 2 days blowing up sustainable biodegradable balloons for the balloon arch that our participants will enter through and will be on either side of the stage. We appreciate that. We know that I think you're going back tonight to finish putting that together. So thank you for that. So we have board members that roll up their sleeves and get out into our schools. We appreciate that. Our mariachi students are going to be greeting the participants at 8:30. There'll be Tom Davis, who went to Kimball Elementary School, grew up right near Trustee Avalos. I think he had a different last name. No, he has a family name that you know. Ariano? Yes.
He raised $20,000 with getting some vendors to help the state host this event. So there'll be a big lunch under a lighting tent with tablecloths. We are going to have a breakfast tomorrow morning, a photographer, just some really great things to really make sure it's extra special and really shows off our National School District. I want to thank the maintenance and operations team, Dr. Segura, Nathan Bland, who have been boots on the ground with CDE, and Jocelyn and Vanessa. I think they made all the name tags. Really were on every single call, all the organizing. They were there to support and then found out they were there to do. So, as always, stepping up to the plate, and we appreciate everything that you've done. It's going to be spectacular. So we're proud to be part of it, and it's going to be a whole symposium, conference. Our students are going to do a student sustainability tour. So if you can come, sneak in. If not, don't worry, we'll be taking lots of pictures because we know some of you have training you need to be at tomorrow. So, and then the Fleet Science Center before our next board meeting night that morning, we'll be back doing more sustainable outreach with 200 sixth grade students from across San Diego, hosted at the Fleet Science Center. We'll have 6 different districts, and our students will be sharing and collaborating with students across the region what we can do to have a more sustainable future for our planet. So proud of our students for leading that effort with their peers. And then I'll say that I don't have a student going into college, and I don't have a student graduating from college, but I do have a post-grad who is a job seeker. He did attend the South County Job Fair today, and if anybody watching or anybody here has a job for him, he is hireable. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone who made their announcements, and starting December, I have to repeat it. I want to thank Dr. Ferris for bringing in the cyber person to speak on that. It was really good. We learned a lot. I had heard him once before, down at the delegate meeting. And so it was really good. It was good to hear him all over again, to listen to him. Want to thank our new employees that came in, although one of them was late, but I'm glad that she did make it after all. And also, I'm not going to go on to anymore because you've heard it all already. Most of all, I want to thank Dr. Phil Yan for being our new superintendent. I wish you all the luck in the world. You got a hard, how do you say, to follow?
Yes.
How do you say that? You got a hard act to follow. That's Dr. Brady. So, but I'm sure you know what you're going to do. I would love to talk about my grandchildren, but going to school, I have 5 grandchildren, I don't know, 7 great grandchildren, and I will be having my 12th great grandchildren who is due in August, I think. I have a lot of big families, so I can't tell you all about where they're graduating, because I'll be here for another 20 minutes, and can I go back to me? Oh, sorry, Mrs. Sarmiento.
Well, real quick,
I have right now.
I have a grandson graduating from junior high. Yay! Also, I was remiss in not acknowledging you, Dr. Philia. I apologize, but I just wanted to share that we had 21 applicants, narrowed it down to 9, narrowed it more down to 6, narrowed it more down to 3, and we met, gosh, a bunch of times, and at one point we were at each other's throats, just kidding. But we had a good time doing it, and we learned a lot about a lot of people, and it was a really tough decision to make. But congratulations. We think you're up for the challenge. Good luck. That's all I have.
Meeting is now adjourned at 8:49. I didn't bring the contact. I said 8:15.
I took 7.
No, 8:15, I said.